সকলকে শুভ সন্ধ্যা জানাই। আজকে আমরা এই এডুকেশন ডিপার্টমেন্ট আর সোশিওলজি ডিপার্টমেন্ট, দুই ডিপার্টমেন্টের উদ্যোগে এই সেমিনারে আর ওয়েবিনারের আয়োজন করেছি। প্রথমেই আমি আমাদের এই ওয়েবিনারে উপস্থিত আমাদের স্পিকারদের প্রণাম জানাই। আমাদের প্রিন্সিপাল স্যার আছেন ওয়েবিনারে, স্যারকে আমি আমার প্রণাম জানাই। আরো উপস্থিত আছেন আমাদের খেজুরি কলেজের বিভাগীয় প্রধানরা এবং অন্যান্য শিক্ষক শিক্ষিকা এবং শিক্ষাকর্মীরা, তাদেরকে আমি আমার প্রণাম জানাই। শিক্ষার্থী যারা আছো, স্টুডেন্ট ছাত্র যারা আছো, তাদেরকে আন্তরিক অভিনন্দন জানাই। আজকের যে এই ওয়েবিনারের বা এই আলোচনা সভা যে আয়োজন করা হয়েছে, এখানে এই ওয়েবিনারের মূল বিষয় হচ্ছে জেন্ডার, সোশ্যালাইজেশন অ্যান্ড এডুকেশন, প্রসেসুয়াল কন্টিনিউটি অ্যান্ড চেঞ্জ। এই যে সোশ্যালাইজেশনের কথা আমরা এখানে বলছি, তাহলে সোশ্যালাইজেশন মানে মানুষ তো সামাজিক জীব, তাহলে সমাজ ছাড়া মানুষের অস্তিত্ব আমরা দেখতে পাই না। মানুষ সমাজেই জন্মেছে, সমাজেই মানুষ বড় হয়ে উঠেছে এবং সমাজে বিভিন্ন রকম কার্যকলাপের মধ্যে দিয়ে মানুষ মানুষকে নিজের মতো করে নিজের পরিচয় দিতে পেরেছে। কিন্তু মানুষকে নিজের কার্যের মাধ্যমে সে যে নিজেকে নিজের একটা পরিচয় দিচ্ছে, সেই তাকে সঠিক দিশা দেখানোর পথ হচ্ছে সঠিক শিক্ষাদান। তাহলে এখান থেকে শিক্ষা আমরা বলতে পারি যে শিক্ষা এবং সমাজতত্ত্ব, সোশিওলজি আর এডুকেশন, এই দুটো একে অপরের সাথে ভীষণভাবে সম্পর্কযুক্ত। তাহলে মানুষের মধ্যে যে বৈজ্ঞানিক ভিত্তি তৈরি করার যে প্রচেষ্টা বা মানুষের মধ্যে বৈজ্ঞানিক চিন্তা ভাবনা তৈরি করার প্রচেষ্টা, সেটা আমরা করতে পারি শিক্ষার মাধ্যমে, সেটা আমরা নিয়ে আসতে পারি সমাজের বিভিন্ন মানুষের মাধ্যমে। তাহলে আজকের এই ওয়েবিনারের বিষয়ে এর সামান্য ইন্ট্রোডাকশন দিয়ে আমি শুরু করলাম। আজকের ওয়েবিনারের এই আলোচনা সভার সভাপতি হিসেবে আমি আমাদের কলেজের প্রিন্সিপাল স্যার ডক্টর অসীম কুমার মান্না স্যারের নাম প্রস্তাব করছি।
আমি সর্বান্তকরণে প্রস্তাব সমর্থন করছি।
এবার প্রিন্সিপাল স্যারের অনুমতি নিয়ে আমরা এই ওয়েবিনারের প্রথম পর্বের দিকে এগিয়ে যাচ্ছি। প্রথমে আমরা আমাদের স্মৃতি ম্যাডামের কাছে, এইচওডি ডিপার্টমেন্ট অফ সোশিওলজি, ডক্টর স্মৃতি রায়, স্মৃতি ম্যাডামের কাছ থেকে ইন্ট্রোডাক্টরি স্পিচটা শুনে নেব। ম্যাম, প্লিজ স্টার্ট।
Thank you, Dr. Mukherjee. So, as we know that Stevie Ortman's nature culture and nature nurture dichotomy is criticized in many contexts, but still the behavior, attitude, role are determined with this proposition of inheritance, biology, or acquired or learned influence. So, well, both have this effect in shaping a personality of an individual, but the nurture theory suggests that behavioral traits are solely defined by environmental factors that affect our upbringing. So learned traits basically influenced by family and cultural environment, and experience structure individuals' perception, awareness, and identity. So things from the birth onwards, an individual's journey towards development of definite gender roles. Family and education institutions are two important pillars of gender socialization that influences most child during a process. So gender socialization, as we all know, is a process by which individuals develop, refine and learn to do gender through internalizing gender norms and roles as they interact with key agents of socialization, such as their family, social networks and other social institutions. Consequently, exposure to many factors influences the attitudes, beliefs, psychology, personality, and behavior with regard to gender. Gender-appropriate behavior and attitudes are thus passed down since birth, as said earlier, and late in life. While gender socialization do depend and varies over culture, the practices and teachings within certain institutional arrangements, like education or religion for that matter, do help construct femininity and masculinity in everyday life. These pattern practices are what we call as gender orientation, as we know, altogether reinforce gender ideology of stereotypical prejudicial behavior among this individual in society. While the traditional gender stereotype may not be rigid or has loosened to some extent in the present context with regard to socialization, today we see gender neutrality is preferred and practiced by many that depends on again on class and caste. Thus, to what extent this sharp division of being a girl, female, and being a boy, male, an expectation attached with this gender role continues or is changing day by day with reference to education is the concern of today's webinar. So, this webinar intends to examine and address the role of education in building, shaping, or blurring the differences of gender roles in contemporary time. Thank you. Over to Dr. Mukherjee.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for introducing the webinar. Now, I request our principal sir, Dr. Ashim Kumar Manna sir, the chairman of this webinar, to say something about this topic. Sir.
Thank you, Paulomi. আজকের আমাদের এই সেমিনার জেন্ডার সোশ্যালাইজেশন অ্যান্ড এডুকেশন এটার উপরে আলোচনার জন্য আমরা খুব খুশি এরকম একটা ওয়েবিনার অ্যারেঞ্জ করার জন্য। সেই সঙ্গে ধন্যবাদ জানাই যে আইকিউএসি সহযোগিতা করেছে এবং যারা টেকনিক্যাল সাপোর্ট দিচ্ছেন রঙ্গিত বাবু সহ অন্যান্যরা, রাজকুমার, তাদেরকেও ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি সমস্ত আমাদের ছাত্রছাত্রী, স্কলার, টিচার যারা জয়েন করেছেন এই ওয়েবিনারে, তাদের সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি। আর লাস্ট বাট নট লিস্ট আমি ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি যে প্রফেসর রহিম মন্ডল, তার কাছ থেকে এই জেন্ডার সোশিয়ালাইজেশন অ্যান্ড এডুকেশনের উপরে আমরা মূল্যবান বক্তব্য শুনবো। আর এমনিতেই আমরা একটু দেরিতে শুরু করেছি, এই বিষয়ে আমি আর বিশেষ কিছু বলবো না। আমি শুনতে চাই মূল্যবান বক্তব্য, যারা অতিথি আছেন, অন্যান্য যারা গেস্ট আছেন, তাদের বক্তব্য শুনবো এবং তার প্রতিক্রিয়া নিশ্চয়ই শ্রোতারা যারা অংশগ্রহণ করেছেন তাদের কাছ থেকে আমরা শুনবো। সবাইকে পুনরায় ধন্যবাদ জানিয়ে ওয়েবিনার কন্টিনিউ করার জন্য রিকোয়েস্ট করছি।
Thank you, sir. Now we will hear from our Rongit sir, Dr. Rongit Sengupta, head of the English department of Kejuri College and member of IQAC. Sir, please deliver your welcome address.
A very good evening to all who have assembled here. Respected Principal Sir, Dr. Ashim Kumar Manna, Honorable Chairman of the present webinar, Revered Dr. Partha Pratim Dash, Honorable President, Governing Body, Kejuri College, Dignified Professor Sheikh Rohim Mondal, Honor Sir, Sociology and Education.
ট্রেনে উঠে গেছে, টিকিট কনফার্ম হয়ে গেছে। হ্যাঁ, ট্রেনে উঠে গেছে, টিকিট কনফার্ম হয়ে গেছে, ট্রেন ছাড়বে ওই একটু।
Principal Sir, all right. Dignified Dr. Amulya Kumar Acharya, Associate Professor, PG Department of Education, Fakir Mohun University, Odisha. Respected Dr. Gautam Dandapat, Coordinator, IQAC, Kejuri College. All the assembled dignitaries, teachers, staff members, researchers, the members of the Students' Union, and our dear students. On behalf of the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Kejuri College, I welcome you all to this fascinating national level webinar on gender socialization and education, processual continuity and change, jointly organized by the departments of Sociology and Education, Kheduri College, in collaboration with IQSE. In contemporary gender studies, socialization has been a much discussed topic, which has highlighted the importance of socialization through societal norms and discourses in the construction of gender. In studies of culture, led by third wave feminists like Judith Butler, this has often defined the contours of the nature versus nurture debate, and it has led to the shaping of theories of gender performativity. In sociological and social anthropological studies, gender socialization has fueled researches into both cisgender and transgender identities and communities. In studies as varied as that of Peggy Sanday to that of Dorothy Smith or Lisa Diamond, to name a few, the macrostructural analysis of gender construction have been strikingly elaborated. Such studies highlight the important influences of gender socialization to pedagogy, as in the studies of, for example, Nellie Stromquist. And it is in this interesting arena of research that our dignified speakers would venture today. Professor Mondal and Dr. Acharya are eminent in their own fields, and it's our rare privilege to have them with us today. I thank Sriti Rai, Dr. Poulomi Mukherjee, Professor Priyanka Gupta, and the departmental colleagues in the departments of Sociology and Education for organizing this particular webinar. And I also wholeheartedly thank our principal sir and our honorable president for guiding us. And I also thank our colleagues of the IQSE for providing much needed support. The technical team should also be appreciated. Without any further delay, I thank you all for assembling here, and I would ask my students to please make use of this opportunity to be enlightened by the words of our dignified speakers, and let us hope for a pleasant session of intense, respectful conversation. Thank you, and we are all inquisitive, and we are all there to listen. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a brief introduction. Now I request our Sriti ma'am to introduce our speaker, Professor Sheikh Rahim Mondal, former director of Center for Himalayan Studies, North Bengal University of West Bengal. Ma'am, please. Ma'am, you are muted, ma'am.
Thank you, Poulomi ma'am. So it's my great honor and pleasure to introduce our first distinguished speaker, Professor Sheikh Rahim Mondal. Professor Mondal is an eminent anthropologist and a sociologist. Formerly, he held important positions as Chair Professor of Anthropology and Sociology and Director, Center for Himalayan Studies. He has been the Professor and Founder Head of the Department of Anthropology, University of North Bengal. He is the Founder Director of Center for Studies in Local Languages and Cultures of North Bengal, University of North Bengal. He has diverse research in areas of interest like studies on tribal, peasant, urban, industrial, and mountain societies, ethnic studies, gender studies, and study of Muslims and other minorities. Besides, he is an expert specialist in area studies, development studies, health studies, studies of globalization and social dynamics, study of indigenous knowledge, study of ethnic groups and ethnicity. Presently, he is serving as a visiting and guest professor in the University of North Bengal and some other Indian universities. He is a member in academic committees of many Indian and foreign universities. Moreover, he has visited 9 foreign countries for delivering lectures at different universities. Professor Mondal is an author of 6 books like Stratification, Hierarchy, and Ethnicity in Northeast India 1991, Dynamics of Muslim Society 1994, Educational Status of Muslim 1997, Rural Muslim Movement 2005, Jari Embroidery, a study of traditional craft and craftsmen of Bengal 2009, and has 115 research papers to his credit, which is published in professional journals. Currently, he is also acting as advisors in research committees and planning bodies. It's our pleasure to have with us Professor Mandal this evening. He will definitely enlighten us by sharing his insights on the present theme and enrich us with his enormous knowledge. Over to Professor Mandal.
Thank you, ma'am. And welcome, sir. Welcome, Professor Mandul. That you have given us this time. Thank you so much for that. And sir, please start your discussion now.
So may I start now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Sir, please
I'm
start.
audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening to all of you. At the beginning, I must appreciate the organizers of this webinar. The principals are of the Khejuri College, the members of the governing body of the Khejuri College, my student Sriti, and I also saw the other organizer, Paulumi, and many others, and also the IQUAC Center for organizing this important webinar. Few days back, Siti called me. I know Siti for many reasons. She happened to be our student. I told Siti, these days I am not much involved with this academic matters, as because of webinar I do not get any pleasure, as because I believe in face-to-face contact and almost by personal presence, but the pandemic situation and many other situations consecutively developed for many reasons. I'm not disclosing the reasons, but I know the reasons from the UGC side. When you are almost set up, no seminar will come in future. We should be happy with the webinar. I said I may not be able, but she said that sir, please do it. So as per request of the student, I cannot say no, but I am agreed. Today, Shriti told many things about me. I am not a man of that stature. I am simply a student of anthropology and sociology. With your kind permission, I'm just going to start. Very important topic. I must appreciate the organizers, including college principals and my all colleagues, those who are in the organizing committee, for organizing very important issue, gender socialization and education. Since other professor is also there from education side, today I will also only restrict myself on gender socialization issue. I think my other colleague will handle with the education. Actually, I am habituated to speak in Bengal English, but considering there are many student members that are also attending, so I will try my best wherever possible. The hard term will come, I will explain in Bengali. Otherwise, student may not get any interest in high-level theoretical issues. বাংলা করলে বোঝা যায় এটার কথা হচ্ছে লিঙ্গ সামাজিকরণ। এটা সব সময়তে আমরা দেখি, সবার বাড়িতে দেখি, রাস্তাঘাটে দেখি, যেখানে যাই সেখানেই দেখি, কিন্তু আমরা বুঝতে চেষ্টা করি না ব্যাপারটা। এটা আমরা কেউ জানি না এমন নয়, প্রত্যেকটা ছেলে মেয়ে যারা কলেজে ইউনিভার্সিটি আমরা বাড়িতে থেকেও জানি, কিন্তু আমরা এটাকে অনুধাবন নেওয়ার পড়াশোনার দরকার হয়। তার প্রক্রিয়া, তার ধারাবাহিক ইন্টারেস্টিং টপিক। আমি ধীরে ধীরে বলছি, বলতে শুরু করে থামতে পারি না। ইট ইজ নট হ্যাবিট, আই থিংক হি নোজ অ্যাবাউট ইট মাচ বেটার। But anyways, I would request the organizer, after 1 hour, please give me a signal that I should stop. যে কোনো, for any kind of academic exercise, 3 important things are there. Why should we know it? What in philosophical term we call ontology. Gender socialization এ কেন আমি দেখবো, কিসের জন্য দেখব, কি দরকার আমার, এবং কতটুকু দেখবো। হোয়াট ইজ দেয়ার টু নো, অনেক কিছু আছে। জেন্ডার সোশ্যালাইজেশন ভেরি ভাস্ট সাবজেক্ট, ফুল কোর্স। আমি কতটুকু দেখবো, আমি ছোট ছোট করে বলবো আস্তে আস্তে। সেকেন্ড পার্ট হচ্ছে এপিস্টেমোলজি, কেন দেখব, যেটার সঙ্গে এই ধারাবাহিকতা, প্রক্রিয়া সব যুক্ত। কেন দেখব? এটা পরিবর্তন আনার জন্য তো। কিসের জন্য? জেন্ডার, একটাই ছোট কথা, জেন্ডার ইকুয়ালিটি, লিঙ্গ সমতার জন্য। আর কোনো, এটাই প্রথম। তারপর আরো অনেক কিছু আছে, ইস্যুজ আছে, জেন্ডার ডেভেলপমেন্ট, অনেক 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 কিছু আছে। থার্ড হচ্ছে মেথোডোলজি, আমরা কেমন করে এটাকে দেখি। আমরা সোশ্যাল সায়েন্সের একটা সমস্যা হচ্ছে, আমরা বেশিরভাগ ফ্যাক্টস নিয়ে আলোচনা করি, থিওরি মেথডস নিয়ে মোটেই আলোচনা করি না। জেন্ডার সোশ্যালাইজেশন জানতে গেলে থিওরিও জানতে হবে, মেথোডোলজিও জানতে হবে, ফ্যাক্টসটা তো জানতেই হবে। এবং ফ্যাক্টসটা মোটামুটি আমরা সবাই জানিও, প্রত্যেকের বাড়িতেই এটা ঘটে। আমার কোনো বাড়ি নেই যে জেন্ডার সোশ্যালাইজেশন সেখানে হয় না। যাই হোক, এবারে আমি দেখতে চাইছি ইস্যু অফ জেন্ডার। কেন জেন্ডারটাকে আমি দেখবো? জেন্ডারটাকে আমি দেখবো, এই যে প্রক্রিয়া কথাটা বলা হয়েছে, কি করে কনস্ট্রাক্টেড হয়, কে কনস্ট্রাক্ট করে, ছেলেরা করে না মেয়েরা করে না সবাই মিলেই করে, এটা ভাবতে পারবে। আর যেটার সব থেকে গুরুত্বপূর্ণ জায়গা পরিবর্তন, ডিকনস্ট্রাকশন, নিশ্চয়ই হচ্ছে, ধারাবাহিকতাও আছে, পরিবর্তন, যেটা আমরা সোশিয়োলজি টার্মে বলি কন্টিনিউটি অ্যান্ড চেঞ্জ। এইভাবেই আমরা ব্যাপারটাকে দেখার চেষ্টা করছি। এবারে প্রথম দিকে আসি, একজনের কথা কোনো মানেই হয় না, তিনি হচ্ছেন বিখ্যাত জেন্ডার এক্সপার্ট। ওনার নাম হচ্ছে ভীনা মজুমদার, প্রফেসর ভীনা মজুমদার। এবং ওর সঙ্গে আর একজন ছিলেন লতিকা সরকার, প্রফেসর লতিকা সরকার। অনেক দিনের কথা, তখন আমরাও ওরা ছাত্র ছিলাম। ওনাদের দুজনের একটা বই আছে, সে বইটা আমি আশা করবো কলেজ কর্তৃপক্ষ কিনে নেবে, যদি সোশিয়োলজি ডিপার্টমেন্টের দরকার হয়, তারা পুরো সবার জন্যই দরকার। বইটার নাম হচ্ছে টুয়ার্ডস ইকুয়ালিটি। টুয়ার্ডস ইকুয়ালিটি বইটা এনারা দুজনে মিলে লেখেন, সারা ভারতবর্ষে উম্মানদের তথ্য সংগ্রহ করে মিনিস্ট্রি অফ হোম অ্যাফেয়ার্স, গভর্নমেন্ট অফ ইন্ডিয়া 1974 এটাকে পাবলিশ করে। ওই বইটি পড়ার পর ভারতবর্ষে উমেন স্টাডিজ প্রথম থেকে শুরু হয়, পরে সেটা জেন্ডার স্টাডিজ নাম হয়। তার একটা ইতিহাস আছে, সেটা আজকে এখন বলা সম্ভবও নয়। এই বইটি না পড়লে কিন্তু ভারতবর্ষের জেন্ডারের অবস্থা আজ থেকে কত দশক আগে, 1974 সালের ব্যাপার, তখনই বোঝা গেছিল। তারপর থেকে আজকে কত বছর পার হয়ে গেছে, এখনো কিন্তু সেই ইস্যু রয়েই গেছে। এবার আমি আসছি কি করে এলো ভারতবর্ষে। তো উনি শুরু করলেন জেন্ডার স্টাডিজ, ওমেন্স প্রথমে ছিল ওমেন স্টাডিজ, পরে হয়েছে জেন্ডার স্টাডিজ। কেন হয়েছে সেটা আমি বলে দিচ্ছি। জেন্ডার স্টাডিজটা শুরু হয়েছিল ওমেন্স মুভমেন্ট দিয়ে, সুতরাং ওমেন্স মুভমেন্টের একটা বিশাল গুরুত্ব আছে। ইন্টারন্যাশনাল ওমেন্স মুভমেন্ট, ইন্টারন্যাশনাল ওমেন লিবারেশন 1975, movement and women conferences linked with both are linked. Subject of women studies. Interesting ব্যাপার, 1975 ইন্টারন্যাশনাল ওমেন লিবারেশন ইয়ার, তার এক বছর আগে কিন্তু ভারতবর্ষে একজন মহিলা book on towards equality. বোঝা যাচ্ছে ভাবে পরের দিনে ভাবে, এখানেও তাই। Now comes to the another issue. The lot of studies, college studies associated that center. Some people, particularly from the question mark, should be studying only women, why not men? These issues is a very historical issue. I am not. Later on, it was finally decided that in a state of the disciplines as a gender studies. So some departments are in the name of women studies continuing. There are many new departments have come up with the gender studies. Almost objective is the same. Gender studies has more wider field. Women studies in that way, as because we cannot. Sometimes people equalize gender with women. It is not like that. And to some extent, methodological differences are there. I will come to that point later on. Now comes what is gender. First question is what is gender. আমি ছাত্রছাত্রীদের জন্য বলবো জেন্ডার কথাটা মানে হচ্ছে ইউনিভার্সাল ডিভিশন অফ লেবার, মেন রুট হচ্ছে এটা, ইউনিভার্সাল ডিভিশন অফ লেবার বেসড অন বায়োলজিক্যাল সেক্সেস। ইট মিনস পুরুষ আর মহিলা, আরো ছোটবেলায় পুত্র সন্তান আর কন্যা সন্তান, এই ডিভিশনটা ছোট থেকেই শুরু হয়। তো এইখানেই আপনাদের জেন্ডার সোশ্যালাইজেশন লুকিয়ে আছে। সবার বাড়িতেই হয়, কম বেশি হয়, কেউ বলতে পারবে না তার বাড়িতে হয় না। ইট ইজ ইউনিভার্সাল ফেনোমেনা, সারা দেশে হয়, আমি বিদেশে গিয়েও দেখেছি, ওখানেও আছে। কাজে সেইভাবেই বেসড অন বায়োলজিক্যাল সেক্স, তার মানে যে জেন্ডার, মেন and women is a biological. Perhaps those who are a student of zoology, they can feel better. They are the biological. Man is a biological, female is a biological, out of lot of things, out of organs and other things, including the hormones also. But gender is exclusively cultural, it is constructed. Sex, biological male or female, it is constructed by natural selection, whereas the gender is constructed by society and culture, so it is cultural. So gender is highly cultural. Hence, it is a social problem. It can also be changed socially. It means gender change করা যায়, biological sense change করা যায়, আজকে বলা মুশকিল, কারণ medical science এই জায়গায় পৌঁছে গেছে। They can do it, but that is a so-called artificial. But gender is entirely artificial, and it is universal. In all levels, in all communities, all castes, all classes, everywhere. Even from this India to enter world, the gender is a universal phenomenon. The issue is, very important issue, most important issue is how gender, most fundamental issue, how gender socialization emerges, how it is constructed, why it is constructed. People take it negatively, some people take it positively, but points are both there. Now, the issue of the one hand, the production. In one hand, it is a productive, other hand is reproductive and domestic. There's differences. The productive, other hand reproductive and domestic. This dichotomy actually emerged and here the patriarchal issue automatically, patriarchy in sociologists call male's rule, male domination, male value. But patriarchy, you cannot blame only male individual. Maybe a patriarch, any male may be patriarch, but more important is patriarchy is an institution. You usually blame all things to the male, but female also possesses the same value, the male value. That is why the entire problem emerged out of that. So male value, basically how we giving importance to the male or a boy child, how we giving importance to the male for the social value, how we sometimes even we consider male is superior, that is also a male value. This value system actually rooted in the patriarchy. So patriarchy is not basically a person, of course, biological male, but more important is patriarchy is an institution. Suppose, for example, dowry. If sometimes son is say that I will not go for marriage with dowry, I will marry without dowry, may social pressure will come, even coming from the female side much more. It means patriarchy we have accepted. So this until unless patriarchal value system is changed, change in socialization is also not possible. It means the change in value system. Of course, it is started. Now there are many middle class families, single daughter families, there are many more. Even some of my own family, I have seen that. But even 10 years before it was, even 20 years before it was much difficult. Now things are changing. Now comes another important thing, the male fear. Perhaps all of you, many of you have seen the old film of Amitabh Bachchan and Joya Bhaduri. It was an Abhiman. Abhiman was the issue of the misogyny, fear of the female's upliftment within the family. That is also an issue. So there are deep-rooted historical issues are there behind this gender socialization or the gender division of labor, whatever may be. Now, important another issue is whenever we are talking about the gender socialization, status and role. In a family, in a society, whose status is high? And status determined by roles. So domestic activities linked with the social activities, and that creates a distinction between ascribed role and achieved role. Women getting in our society, they were getting status as because they're achieving roles. Many women now also engaged in professions. They're earning, they are educated. So their achieved roles are different, but ascribed roles is basically the gender roles. It emerged from the family. That is why even me, members, whenever going back to the home, they're expecting a cup of tea from the female members, not from any male members, until unless there is no one. So you see the values. Now, no, in the context of both male and female, and that also helped in gender socializations. Now, there are many theories. I'm talked about this gender theories. I'm just coming up one after another. It will be tough, but I will making it very simple. First one is a structure functional approach. It means in a society, the structure, has a male structure constituted by the male, structure constituted by the female. Suppose in your own home, you may see most outside activities structured, encircled around male, enter domestic activities and structured with around the female. So structure is female, female also the part of the entire social structural system. And they feel that there are most important issues inequalities. So gender is nothing but a male and female inequalities in family and also of the society. Our main goal of gender study is to make equality, not sameness. With equality, that is a wrong perception. Basically, as because male cannot be a female, female cannot be a male. But what we can do, we can equalize them. That is the main motto, not to make the same. Structure functionalists feel that there was a reform needs for equality. Liberal. Basically, they are also called liberalists. It advocates that male is a one class category of people, female is another category of people, as because male possesses capital, control the capital, and female is lack of capital, lack of money. But now it is situation changing. Also entered in the capital market. Now, here, according to Marx, the gender equality emerged in terms of class movement. Two classes of people are there. In one hand, the male as the haves, women as the have-nots. So this is a parameter. And third one is important is the feminism. This feminism is nothing, and some people say that whether a male be a feminist or female be a feminist, most simple answer is anybody can be a feminist. Feminist means these are all the issues of feminist. Feminist means awareness about sexual inequalities, awareness about women's subjugation, and also work for equality. This is the basic reason of the feminism. And one important issue of the feminism is they also think the women's upliftment through women's movement. One important issue. Now, the feminists are also classified into different. For us, we should know it. Feminists. Feminists. Liberal feminists actually they do not like to conflict, rather said that it will be through dialogues, it will be through reforms, it may happen. Now the question is, we must remember that our Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, he was also a great feminist in his time, but nobody mentioned that. He did a lot for the upliftment of women. Suppose Soti, Dahu, another one is child marriage, women's education. But you might never discuss on this issue. Nowadays, this The people belonging to humanities discipline, they're working good on Vidyasagar's and any other issues. That's because Ram Mohan also a feminist in that way. But they all did not like to break the entire system as because society at that time was very static. So main thing is liberal feminists said that without any much conflicts, there should be some welfare measures for the betterment of women. Still what is going on, what we call in our sociological paradigms, we called as development. WID, women in development, means women coming to the process of development in a liberal manner, but the controlling power is in the hands of the men, like because they think about the woman's condition, not things about the woman's position. As because women have no voices, rather the voices are of male, they wanted to have some welfare measures for the female. Basically, our Indian social planning is basically that was the issue. Now, second one is this radical feminist, means they like to change system, social structure, to break the social structure for liberation and equalities. But West, what they mean, and that is not operating in India, sometime operating, but not at all at the ground level. Main reason this, Western women themselves feel that the Indian women are subjugated. So they feel that they are much more better condition and subjugated and talk much more about the women of India. And once again, is the, what should I say, one colonial mindset, maybe the Western domination, whatever may be, because Westerners have a feeling that, even the women have a feeling that, even the feminists have a feeling that the Indian women are subjugated. How much they subjugated, what they know about Indian society, God knows, but they have some sort of minds. But anyway, radical feminists basically favor of the radical change in a social system to have the equality or this liberation. But the most important theoretical paradigm for women studies in the postmodern feminism, which speaks that all over India, sometimes we equate the woman's problem universally as a whole, same. It is not like that. Postmodernists said that women's positions, women's situations vary from caste to caste, community to community, class to class, region to region, rural and urban. So we must address them. We should not equalize all women's problem as one problem. Maybe this is the problem of the upper caste women, that is the problem of the so-called Dalit women. A lot of issues are there. So they said that gender diversity is the most important. Gender problem is important, at the same time gender diversity is also very important. Now another important issue is critical feminism. The critical feminism also emerged out of postmodern feminism. They said that we must study the critically. They said that how construction taking place, how deconstruction also taking place. That critically, they want to study the feminism from a critical point of view. It means not all, it is also they advocated that woman's feeling, means it is not the construction, it is not the deconstruction, more important is the woman's feeling, what in Bengali word we call matritva. There is an issue, very important issue nowadays, how the woman's feel about the so-called motherhood. Labor. Now the concept, now I'm is gender theory behind is this domain of deconstruction and subjective objective dichotomy, means how the other woman feels about a woman, how the male feels about the woman, but how a woman feel about herself. That has no place till date. That has no place till date as we also contribute the woman's feeling. Woman's feeling be contributed and used in the gender study. This is the most important thing. Now on the other theories of gender division of labor. I'm একটু পরে বলবো একটু কাছে into the part. I have said one theory, one set of theories, another set of theories are also there. One is how the division of labor emerged, based on sexes or based on gender. First one is physical strength theory. We have a common notion that male are possessing more physical strength. That is why all hard work, all hard tasks, dangerous tasks are assigned to the male. This is one of the explanation of the patriarchy. Many people may disagree, but it was the theory, as because in anthropology, in early days, there's a question: gender socialization is not a new phenomena. Archaeologically, it has been proved that it is happening thousands and thousands of years back, since thousands and thousands of years back. Even in prehistoric age, what we call Adi Manav, that time was also gender division there. Obviously, gender socialization was there. That is why there is a proverb: male meant for hunting. Means whenever you see with a bow and arrow, you can never see a female. Always you can see a male. Whenever you see a gun, it is always with a male, not with a female. But in other words, females are meant for gathering. Females are habit of saving. So this is one iconic thing from prehistoric days. So male as a hunter, female as a gatherer, and that is why that prehistoric dichotomy still continues. Even your own home, even you can ask yourself, who is saving more, male or female? Even my own home, I know. Perhaps all of you know during Notbandi, whose notes were much more, females or males? And even important thing, when I was a student, my pocket money used to end within the middle of month. I had to take loan from my sister. She was going to the college, I was going to the university. It means we have to accept the fact that women have a saving habit better in comparison to the male. Of course, there are differences and exceptions. Exception is not a universal phenomenon. Second one is child care theory. The child care, the most important thing, child caring, child bearing, these are the two most important things that are assigned for women. It's because male neither can have a biologically possible to carry the child or to rearing of a child. So child rearing is the most important thing that compelled women to remain in the home for a much time to save her baby. Perhaps all of you know, whenever there is an absence of female member for some reasons, maybe for some other works, we used to buy food from the outside, but never cook, except a very few. But of course, now things are changing. Third one is expandability theory. Expandability theory means expandability theory means in the other way also, who is more important, male or female in population growth. Suppose in where, when there is a loss of the male members, people depend for population on female members by multiple marriage or many other ways. Typical example is Vietnam. After Vietnam War, male population almost reduced. There are more female population. So ultimately they are allowed, new marriage rules was allowed. So ultimately population to some extent increased after the massacre of male population in the war. The same thing happened in Afghanistan also. Same thing happened in Iraq also. Same thing happened in many parts of the world. So we must, that is perhaps all of you know, what is happening after war. As because male usually, habitually, traditionally, historically going to warfare. But nowadays, of course, things have changed. Now we have the women soldiers, we have women police, now we have women colonel. These are the changing things. But still there, male force is basically we send to warfare. Even there are some countries in Eastern Himalayas where at least from every household, one member should go for the service of the country. But there is no such bar for the female. So you can easily understand, as because female is more important thing for the population. And that is why there is a gender division of labor also emerged out of those notions. I am using the word notions. Now come another concept, the identity. Now another important issue is family formation theory. Sociologists believe that family was formed historically. Even there are a lot of Morgan said that initially family was formed in the hands of female. There is a story. I'm not narrating those things as because of the problem of the time or the scarcity of time. But even suppose you see there are a lot of pictures are available in the market. My sweet home. Whose picture is there? Anybody male there? No. It is always with the female with the folded head, my sweet home. It means home without female we cannot think of. Male cannot create a home, what we call sociologically. We can say the domestic unit, household unit, but we cannot call it a family. Family will be called if female member is there. And he has a marital relationship with a male, and there are many other issues in the family definition. So family formation is one of the credit of the female. In that way, all domestic responsibility is given to the family. And even I do not know much about the thing, because now come the most important theories, what you call motherhood theories. We have not seen any time my mother said that I am tortured, I am unequal, because she thought that it is her family, that is why everybody likes the food cooked by the mother's hand or maybe the wife's hand. The concept is the same thing as because whom we giving importance. As because if you ask any mother, how do you feel? Are you unequal? She will say, তোকে মানুষ করেছি, তুই বড় হয়েছিস, তোর বিয়ে দিয়েছি, ছেলেকেও বলে মেয়েকেও বলে, তোকে খাইয়েই আমার খুশি। যারা দূরে থাকি, হোস্টেলে থাকো, যারা আমার চাকরি ক্ষেত্রে বাইরে থাকি, কেন ছুটির সময় বাড়ি ফিরে যাই? That is the main reason, the home and matritva or motherhood. So motherhood is another concept that is also dealing with the gender socialization. That is why we assign some specific duties to the female, some specific duties to the male. Now I'm coming to the very crucial issue. Suppose you have two kids, one is a boy, other one is a girl. Whenever buying toys, you buy Barbie doll for your daughter and you buy gun for your son. What does it mean? It means girl want to know the Barbie doll playing. It means she is playing with the dolls as if she is a mother. She is arranging her marriage. She is lot of domestic utensils she is bringing. It's a lot of things. There is a khalna, we call the khalna bati. Khalna bati কার জন্য? Khalna bati conceptই হচ্ছে basically it was gender specific. মেয়েদের জন্য প্যাকেটে পাওয়া যায় ছোট কড়া, ছোট হাতা, ছোট হাঁড়ি, যাই বলুন, ছোট খুন্তি, নানান রকম কিছু পাওয়া যায়। তাতে সেইটা আপনি যদি কোনো ছেলেকে দেন, আপনার ছেলেকে ছুঁড়ে ফেলে দেবে। বরং আপনি তাকে একটা গান কিনে এনে দিলে বা অন্য ব্যাডমিন্টন ব্যাট কিনে এনে দিলে বা ক্রিকেট ব্যাট কিনে এনে দিলেও সে খুশি হবে। The gender division of labor started at the family, and more so there is a theory called Cooley's theory, what we call looking glass self theory. Looking glass self theory means within the home itself, a boy wants to imitate his father, a girl child imitate to her mother. What Cooley said, the interaction is nothing but a male-female interaction with your mother, interaction with your father. It is a symbolic one, where son wanted to copy the father, daughter wanted to copy the mother, and the socialization started accordingly. We buy some toys for the boys, some toys for the girls, as because they like it, as because they learned it from the mother, how mother is cooking, how mother is dressing, how mother is also, what should I say, they use the cosmetics and other things. And that is why girl from very young stage came to know that it is my future. So accordingly, she tried to imitate. Similarly, if you look at the boys coming to the father's domain, try to copy the father, sometimes using the father's safety razor, even sometimes big shoes, they put their legs in the father's big shoes. It means that, what does it mean? It all means that he came to know that it will be his future. So the future, your own home, that is the mirror, own home, the interaction within this home also leads someone the gender socialization. And another important theory is also there, what we called as very important theory, personality theory. But personality theory, or Margaret Mead and other scholars studied it, but they have shown there is no personality difference between male and female, or are equal. But what is important is there a boundary maintenance mechanism is always there for the sake of identity. That is why umbrella, ladies' umbrella is a short size, male umbrella nowadays folding are there. Initially, you think about 30 years back, long umbrella basically the male symbol, female umbrella is basically the female symbol. Even the wristwatch nowadays, of course, the things are changing, everything is changing. Wristwatch, I used to see my mother's wristwatch very small and my father's wristwatch big. Even in my own home also the same thing. My wristwatch never used by my partner, but her wristwatch is always small. But now things are changing, not because fashion changing. Even the color also. You may see if you ask our students, and a lot of students are here, which kind of color of cycle you like, or which kind of color of bike you like, or a scooty, whatever may be. Male will always said that black, it is heroism. Maybe they are fond of red. Maybe sometimes different other color, but never they ask for the pink color. But if you look at the female, there are a lot of pink scooties now available in the showroom. Even once upon a time, Preeti Zinta advertised the scooty of pink color. It means pink color is the color of the females. It means in terms of the differences of color, differences of size, difference of technology, lot of things are there. So this theory is popularly called as the identity formation theory. This identity formation theory, you can see the kutsa, we male call Punjabi, but it's very long length. Female also using kutta, but they do not call it kutta, they call kutti. It means you see that language itself is different. So you can see easily, I wrote an important paper on the book on this jewelry embroidery, that how the color, how the shape of belongings also differs from male to female. It means identity formation. So gender socialization, that is why your young girl at a home, they are also crying, sometimes also taking order for her earring. Of course, nowadays earring also used by the males, but almost every girl, it is almost mandatory. It is not in India, it is everywhere. In a foreign country, I have seen that. The necklace. Nowadays, we are also using the so-called chains or other things. Male are also using, but the female chains are different design, male chains are different design. So you see the gender differences are always there, and it is for identity construction. So we must think that the domain of the male and female, as I said rightly earlier, a physical strength theory and motherhood theory, there is a biology therein. We should think about the biology. There is hormone, androgen hormone, basically one kind of aggressive hormone. We all males are possessing in a much more number. Male are more aggressive when their androgen hormone are secreting more. And just contrast to androgen hormone, in a female case, it is another estrogen hormone that is also important for the female reproductive health and also for the procreation and other things. And this hormone particularly also responsible for gender division of labor. You see how biology tagged with the sociology of the social sciences. I'm not going in details. There are a lot of important research papers are there. So basically, what is this? The gender socialization is just simply a division of labor between boys and girls, males and females, as per social and familial requirements. Issue is not a problem there. Problem is inequality. How the gender socialization caused inequalities. Obviously, it has caused inequalities. So our main goal is to gender socialization to social inequalities between gender. That is should be our main focus. So I already talked about gender looking glass self. Now I am coming to the most important other issues. How much time I have? May I know? How much time I have?
Sir, 10 to 20 minutes. Sir, if you don't mind, sir, please sum up a little bit. Because
Okay,
our
I will
students
do it.
actually don't
Maybe
have...
by 10 minutes I am doing this. Now, another important issue that is responsible for gender socialization, and almost all ladies know much more better than me, those who are attending, even the students and my colleagues. Culture of silence, most important concept, culture of silence. প্রত্যেক বাড়িতেই শেখানো হয় মেয়েদের বেশি কথা বলতে হয় না, ছোটবেলা থেকে মা বলে, বাবারা খুব একটা বলে না, মায়েরাই বলে তোকে শ্বশুর বাড়ি যেতে হবে, এত কথা বলিস না, বিপদ হবে। কালচার অফ সাইলেন্সের জন্যই মেয়েরা তাদের অনেক রকমের অসুবিধার কথা চেপে যায়। Perhaps all of you know, I am not going in details. Even this of the other thing, the culture of silence means that we have socialized in that a way that girl child should not speak more. Second one is, and that suppressed her voices. That suppressed her voices, and that caused a lot of problems of gender socialization. Second one is invisible hands. Lot of things are taken place in your own family, even in your own institution. But one important thing, we usually do not calculate the woman's labor. Suppose if we keep a domestic servant at home, and we have to pay nowadays in urban places not less than 4,000. But you know, neither our family members never asked for their labors, but throughout the day and night, they are working for the family. As because invisible hands means people said that family is her, he should work. Nowadays, you can see there is a rising trend internationally. Foreigners like to marry the Indian girls. There are many reasons, but one important reason, they will get the free service at their family. And a lot of my colleagues' daughters are married off. They told like this. Third one is glass ceiling effect. I think my own colleagues attending this webinar, they can feel easily. To some extent, sometimes girls feel that women feel level I can move above that is because there is a ceiling. What is glass ceiling? But I cannot reach them because of job, maybe for other reasons. But the most important thing that is always working on women in that way, try whatever they got, and that is also and woman self. We never asked any woman what you want. All do something in a welfare way that she should be better. But woman's self-image, how she want to, how to be want to be a person, we never assess. Nowadays, there are many middle class families, one single daughter, we have allowed them. Usually, it is not taking place. And one bank at a day, see, father saving money for son's higher education till debt. It means all right from schools, colleges, universities, banks, everywhere, even the TV advertising role of gender socialization today. Gender socialization, you can easily see sharp detergent advertisement. At least appear, but female is always there because it is people like feel that they are better. So in that way, gender not only we teach at family level, it is at the school, it is at the college, it is at the universities, it is research institutions, even in industries, everywhere. Because suppose in a university, academic institution, wherever we are organizing any function, decorative part we leave to the woman. Okay, my woman student will do that, the decorative part. But I am allowing my male students, okay, go for hiring a bus, or go to such or inquire a place where picnic we can arrange. So you see the division of labor everywhere. So all things, it is not the family alone. It is by all your market forces, your medias, academic institutions, workplace, everywhere gender is there. We cannot ignore that. Now I am coming to the last part, most important one. For gender socialization inequalities, if at all caused, it is actually caused. To come to the equality, most important is women's voices. We must listen to women's voices for the sake of women's planning, what this planning is called as gender and development. But Indian plannings, universal plannings, all go by women in development paradigm. We didn't like to listen to women voices, but we make a plan for the women. But in this plan, what we call gender and development, we welcome the women's voices for making a plan, allowing the women to make their plan. It's the most important model for women to reduce the inequalities. So there are, why this so are important, what we are discussing on this issue, there are most 5 important points are there behind that caused women some problems of gender socialization. It is deprivation, it is discrimination, it is disadvantage, disparity, and disempowerment. These are the 5 what we call 5 Ds. These 5 Ds basically are most important to take up the issues of gender socialization, to make equality, to reduce the women's problems. And finally, and once again, we must say that there is a relationship between power and gender. Power hierarchy exists in everywhere. It is in family, it is everywhere. The structure of power. Within the structure of power, where the woman is situated. And accordingly, the result is we should think for gender socialization. Obviously, towards gender socialization is very important. Important for what? As because we should make a girl a empowered, independent, and self-reliant girl. And what, of course, the dominant force of socialization there. Of course, things are changing. It is not like the same. We must be happy that a lot of changes have taken place. We have to go a long way for gender equality. And for gender equality, gender deconstruction, gender should be introduced in gender socialization. Whenever I teach my daughter to cook, I have also need to teach my son to cook. Whenever I say arrange my beds with my daughter or my wife or my sister, I must teach my son also arrange your own bed. Actually, it is not happening. But anyway, things are changing. We are happy that particularly in middle class family changes has taken place. One important thing you can easily see, when I was a student, I am just talking about that. In BSc classes, I was a student of science, almost 50% male, 50% female. Whenever I wait for MSc class, almost same. But I'm happy to see as a teacher, since last 30 years, the women member are much more dominant in academic scenario rather than the male members. Perhaps it is the universal trend. I have also seen in Western countries, females at a higher number coming to this general stream of education, and males are going in professional education. Once again, there is also a gender. I do not like to extend much more. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such thought-provoking speech you have delivered to us. Sir, now I would like to ask Priyanka ma'am. Priyanka ma'am, are you here? Can you hear me? Priyanka
Yeah.
ma'am, will you please conduct the question answer session because sir will leave us soon. So
Actually, I have some other meeting also, so
yes,
it
sir.
is better. Yeah.
Okay, Professor Mangal.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Starting the Q&A session.
Yes.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah, you're audible. I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Sir, we have got a question from Dr. Rungit Sengupta, HOD of English Department in Dept College. So, may I convey the question to you, sir?
Yeah, please. Anyway, not sell.
Yes, sir. Dr. Sengupta has written that you have pointed out that from the primitive times, certain actions and social behavior have been gendered through familial imitation. Is there the role of the state and its institutions in framing this gender dichotomy?
Actually, I am not very clear about the question. Would you please repeat it in a very short form?
Yes, sir. He has written that you have pointed out that from the primitive times, certain actions and social behavior have been gendered through familial imitation. Is
Yeah,
there the role of the state and its institutions in framing this gender dichotomy?
yeah, I'm just coming to this question. Perhaps all of you know the name of Foucault, Michael Foucault.
Yes,
He
sir.
has a very famous work on gender archaeology, archaeology of gender. It means gender is not a new thing. It is since prehistoric times. It is continuing in different forms. Lot of changes have taken place. New shape has taken. So gender is not a new one. As I almost or at the beginning pointed out that whenever in anthropology we teach the prehistory, we have a component called prehistoric man, the early man. There we usually go by one theory: man is the hunt, male is the hunter, female is the gatherer. It means the dichotomy of division of labor also there during those days. But it took different steps in different times, in different ways, in different societies. So gender is a universal phenomena. It is based on division of labor and some other issues also there. I have not discussed those issues. It is basically the issue of that emerged inequality. Gender is basically the issue that emerged inequalities. That is the most important problem. The gender is basically the socially culturally constructed.
Yeah.
It is socially culturally. It is not natural. It is social and cultural, based on biology. That is also very true.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Thank you, sir.
replying.
Thank you for your answer. Sir, Paul ma'am, I have a question to sir also. So may I
Okay,
convey?
okay.
Yeah, you are
Professor
very
Mandal,
much
I have a
correct.
question to you, sir.
Yes, it is, yeah, very much clear
Sir,
that gender caused inequalities, but of
yes,
course rooted in biological sexes.
yes, sir. Sir, I have also a
That is the
question to
most
you.
important is, just a minute, just a minute. That
Okay,
is
okay,
why
okay,
the
okay,
issue,
sir. Okay.
and that is why the deconstruction is needed. Any more questions? Hello?
Yes, sir, I have a
Ma'am,
question, sir. I have a question, sir. May I ask?
Yeah, please.
Sir, my question is, how do we can develop our mentality and change our viewpoint to give a space to the third gender or transgender and acceptance of them in mainstream society
It is very,
without making
it,
any
one of these
discrimination?
questions, please speak one by one. It is very difficult to listen.
Sir, are you hearing me properly, sir? Are you hearing me properly, sir? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
It is noisable,
Hello,
very
sir.
noise. Yeah, I
Is
got
it
the
clear now,
question.
sir?
May I answer? May I answer?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I appreciate you. Yes, I appreciate. Please ask one by one. This makes a noise. Yeah, I'm just
Okay, sir.
answering the
I'm repeating.
transgender issue.
I'm repeating. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Transgender. The identity of transgender.
I got it. I am answering. I am answering. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. Please allow me to speak. Yeah, very important question you raised. Very important question you
Thank you,
raised.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Please allow me to speak.
Okay, sir, you
The
may continue.
question is very important. Even I did some research on that issue. The transgender, now there are two kind of transgender. One is by natural, one is, it is, I think sound is vibrating. Sound is vibrating. Please control. Sound is vibrating. Same question. Yeah. One is basically naturally given third sex, natural birth. I think technical. You please control. May I speak now?
Sir, you
Yes,
are
sir.
clearly audible, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Please, that is always sound is coming. I am unable to speak. Yeah, now it is okay. So one is natural birth. By natural birth, you can say the third sex. Now there are also so many things artificially also. But one thing, now important thing is it is a set of mentality. You raise the thing that yes, change of mindset is most important. Change of mindset, as because they are also human being. Human rights are there, and human rights issues are there. Individual rights issues are there. It is a biological problem. It is a natural problem to some of them. Some also come into the field for the professional, also for economic reasons. And another important thing is this. Now the question is, in once upon a time, they are socially isolated. Today, we need to integrate within the social system. Otherwise, we cannot change them. We need to integrate them in the mainstream, what we call. Things are changing, everything is changing. Early days, they have a different kind of occupation, almost same kind of occupation they are continuing. Hello?
Okay, sir,
স্যার আমরা শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
I have got the answer.
আর
স্যার
কোনো কোশ্চেন আছে?
না
Sir,
বলে
I have
আমাকে
one more
দেখো।
question. May I? One more question, sir. I have one more question. Short question.
Okay, but be precise and control the technical team. Tell them to control the voices. It is repeating, sometimes it is echoing. All things are happening. Okay, tell me
Okay,
your
sir.
question. Okay.
স্যার একটা বলবো,
Gender.
আপনার কি দুটো ডিভাইস
হ্যাঁ,
থেকে
বলো।
খোলা আছে?
স্যারের মনে হয় দুটো ডিভাইস খোলা আছে, তাই জন্য ইকো হচ্ছে। এটা দেখো একটু।
স্যার আপনার কি দুটো
স্যারের
ডিভাইস
কি
থেকে
দুটো ডিভাইস
লগ ইন
খোলা
করা
আছে?
আছে?
না, আমি তো বন্ধ করে দিয়েই খুলেছি, কোনো ডিভাইসই খোলা নেই।
আচ্ছা
আপনি
আচ্ছা,
বলুন, আর কি
ধন্যবাদ
আমি
স্যার।
প্রশ্ন করবে জিজ্ঞেস করুন।
স্যার হ্যাঁ স্যার, একটা প্রশ্ন আছে।
হ্যাঁ, বলুন বলুন।
প্রশ্নটা বলছি আমি। Gender based violence is the outcome of gender based socialization. Do you agree or disagree with the statement? If you agree with the statement, then what is the solution will you suggest to overcome this situation?
Yes, I got the question, but it's not the question of agreement or disagreement. There's the two different dimensions. Of course, gender violence day by day occurring, not simply for socialization process, but also for the situation emerged in post-normal times and post-modern days, what we call, and another sociological theory is there. We are now living in a risk society. Risk is everywhere. And that is why the violence time to time occurring for many, many reasons, hundreds of reasons. We cannot blame the socialization process. Rather, I should say, I am just putting on one example. Just you try to listen. Whenever we are organizing any seminars or lectures during pre-pandemic period, important thing is this. Usually it took a long time. Usually we cut across the university time like 5 p.m. So sometimes we used to work for 8 p.m. And usually in all departments now, female research scholars, female students all are there. Quite often I used to receive a phone call when I was the head of the department, from the mother's side particularly, not from father's side. Sir, can you tell me where is my daughter? I used to tell them, don't worry ma'am, your daughter is with our department, she is helping us for organizing seminar or maybe other occasions. Don't worry, I will arrange for her back to home. I will arrange something so that she should not face any problem. Now the issue is, here the socialization is different in our family. We male members at any time can come to the family. But there are certain time stricture for all, whether the girls or women or housewives, even mother. The time schedule is there. It means you cannot blame the socialization to some extent, given the issues. That is why there was a movement in JNU. But the thing is that the socialization, the issue I have raised, the culture of silence is one of the reasons. Most important thing, culture of silence. The culture of silence of socialization actually compelled women to face many violence, even the so-called domestic violence, even the domestic sexual abuse that is also happened. So it is not this, we cannot say that it is a socialization problem. Socialization to some extent responsible. Sometimes it is also helpful for the woman, but also at the same time, because mother's agony was for daughter's security. Father's agony was the daughter's security. That is why even if a girl in a home, of my home, even she went to market or maybe the academic institution or maybe for tuition, if she is late, we are all worried. We are not much worried about the boys. What for? That is the reason. Gender violence is called women's violence, better to call women violence. Violence day by day increasing. Even the areas where it was not, this was not there, now these are the areas also. One important reason is so-called neoliberal economic policies, or medias and many other issues, and entire society. Yes, because society today itself not much secure. That is why you call risk society. In a risk society, everybody is under trouble, and women facing much more trouble. So you cannot blame the socialization process. Maybe socialization process, there are some problems, there are some responsibilities, but at the same time, socialization process also provides security. I think I am clear. Hello.
I think we have got our answer, sir.
Yes, sir.
You got your answer? It is a
Yes,
matter
sir,
of
yes, sir.
research.
Yes, sir.
But gender violence, if you organize another webinar, I will come to speak as because we have a course on gender violence here. Anyway.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I think there is no more question for you, sir. Thank you for your valuable information, sir.
Yeah, you can tell me in a precise form.
No, sir, there is no more question for you, sir. It was,
It is over?
I think it was, yes, sir, it is over, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, but I do not know how much I have fulfilled your interest or how much you are happy with my lecture, but whatever I know,
No,
I have
sir, it was a nice interactive session with you, sir, and I hope our students and participants have learned so many things from your discussion, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, all the best. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Okay,
your valuable discussions.
Okay, thank you very much.
আমরা আজকের এই ওয়েবিনারে যে আলোচ্য বিষয় জেন্ডার সোশ্যালাইজেশন অ্যান্ড এডুকেশন, এই জেন্ডার সোশ্যালাইজেশনের মধ্যে স্যারের কাছ থেকে আমরা অনেক বিষয় জানতে পেরেছি। জেন্ডার ডাইভার্সিটি, জেন্ডার আইডেন্টিফিকেশন, আইডেন্টিটি ফর্মুলেশন, জেন্ডার কনস্ট্রাকশন, চাইল্ড রিয়ারিং, এই সমস্ত আরো অন্যান্য অনেক বিষয় সম্পর্কে জেনেছি। ছাত্রছাত্রীরা, স্টুডেন্টসরা যারা আছো, তোমরাও আশা করি তোমরা এই বিষয়গুলো জানতে পেরে তোমরা নিজেদেরকে এনলাইটেন করতে পেরেছো। এরপরে আমরা আমাদের
আমি আর একটা কথাই শুধু বলবো, জাস্ট ওয়ান সেন্টেন্স
হ্যাঁ স্যার বলুন স্যার।
ফর দ্য সেক অফ স্টুডেন্টস,
Yes, sir.
সোসাইটি যাতে আমরা বাস করি, আমি ছাত্রছাত্রীদের জন্য বলছি, এটা তাদেরই ভাবতে হবে বেশি করে, যে সোসাইটির বা সমাজে বাস করি এখানে পুরুষ মহিলা আলাদা নয়, দুটো আলাদা ক্যাটেগরিজ, কিন্তু পুরুষ দিয়েও সমাজ চলবে না, মহিলা দিয়েও সমাজ চলবে না। মোস্ট ইম্পর্টেন্ট ইজ ইন্টিগ্রেশন অফ দ্য টু সেক্সেস, integration of the two genders, and most important is to go for equalities, and this will reduce the problem what we are discussing. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Now let us go to the second part of our program. Now I am here to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Amulya Kumar Acharya, sir. Sir is currently working as an associate professor of PG Department of Education, Fakir Mohon University, Balasore, Odisha. He has completed his master's degree education from Sambalpur University, Odisha. He has completed his PhD in education from Utkal University, Odisha. He has 20 years of teaching in higher education system. He worked as an assistant professor in education at Panihati Mahavidyalaya, Shodhpur in Kolkata for nearby.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Sir, should I repeat? Okay, sir. He has worked as assistant professor in education in Panihati Mahavidyalaya, Shodhpur, Kolkata for 10 years under Higher Education Department of Government of West Bengal. He has also worked as a principal at Ithaipur B.Ed College under University of Burdwan. He has worked as a lecturer in Jain College and as a constituent college under Vinoba Bhave University, Jharkhand. He has worked as an assistant professor in B.Ed College at St. Vincent Paloti College, Raipur, and he has published a lot of research articles in different national and international journals. He has also published a good number of chapters in edited books, and he is the author of 2 books, and so far he had a lot of presentations in national and international seminars, workshops, as a paper presenter and a speaker also. He has a good administrative and academic responsibilities in teaching career, and his areas of interest are teacher education, guidance and counseling, educational psychology, trends and issues in education and tribal studies, and so on. He is holding an additional responsibility as a program coordinator in NSS Bureau and coordinator in the Department of Law, and he is a member of IQAC and NAC and many other committees of Fakir Mohon University. He is also a
Paramita Patro, please mute yourself. Man, excuse me a bit. Paramita Patro, you mute karo. All right, ma'am, please continue.
He is also a member in the editorial board of 3 journals, and also he has lifetime membership of AIAER and AITE institutions. Now, sir, it's time for you to start your discussions. Sir, please start.
Very good evening, madam. শুনতে পাচ্ছেন?
হ্যাঁ স্যার শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
Okay. Uh, esteemed Principal, Khejuri College, Dr. Asim Kumar Manna, Honorable Speaker, Professor Sheikh Rahim Mandal Sir, IQAC Coordinator, Khejuri College, and convener of this webinar, faculty members of Department of Sociology and Education, esteemed members of governing body, and all the esteemed participants, those who are present here over the virtual platform. Before going to speak, I would like to say a few words. As Sir has discussed about the gender socialization and various theories, various factors which are affecting and for gender discrimination and the gender roles. So I have nothing to deal about all those aspects. Sir is a man of sociology and anthropology. I think he is the right person to deal all those matters. So I would discuss this gender socialization with regard to education context, with regard to our teaching learning process, with regard to curriculum, with regard to transaction of the curriculum and methodology, how we discriminate, how there is a lack of gender socialization in the process of teaching learning. That I shall discuss. The theoretical background already Sir has discussed what is a gender socialization. As you know that that socialization is acquiring a gender-related behavior and attitudes through intervention of a society, which is called gender socialization. And gender socialization that starts, as Sir has discussed, that starts from the family itself, and you know, from the neighbor, from the peer group, from the classrooms. Sir has given so many examples how there is a discrimination of gender, and that gender related behavior and learning of behavior and attitude that regarding a particular sex and appropriate use, how we can how gender is discriminated from the culture itself, the societal norms, the expectation of the parents, and from the teachers itself, and also in different ways that there is a gender discrimination. So this gender socialization is one of the important area which we need to foster among the students, among the stakeholders. And you know that various committees and commissions have tried their level best to remove the gender discrimination and gender bias as well as the gender issues. So far as Sir has discussed, that while we are buying something, that we are buying that gender specific products for the boy, for the male and female, or for the son and daughter, we are buying that differently, that different product. Even if while we are assigning some task in our school or colleges, that we assigned different tasks. Say for an example, if someone something to carry, we are calling the boys. In something to decorate, we are calling the girls. So that starts gender discrimination starts from itself, from the classroom itself. Same is the case also. Same is the case also while that father is washing the utensils at home. Sometimes that the son is laughing and saying, Father, if no one is generally cleaning the utensils and you are doing, if someone will see, they will laugh. That means the cleaning the utensils is the role of the mother, not the task of the mother, not the father. So this is a construct, this is a social construct which we start from our birth itself, from the beginning that we learn, and that discrimination starts from the parents, from the family members, from the society, from the peer groups, as well as from the classroom itself. So what are the agents of gender socialization? As Sir has discussed, the parents are the most important agent of gender socialization. That parents, they starts that gender inequality. So I'm just giving you one example. I have seen my maternal uncle house when I visit in my childhood mostly. I have seen the boys, they will have full egg, that means a single egg, and girls they will have, in my childhood, that means 30 years back, the girls they will have the half eggs. And even if the boys they will take a full glass of milk at night, and the girls or the daughter they will have a half glass, or sometimes if it is not available, that is not provided. So this is that from the parents we do such type of behavior, and also not that has been a mark since that society, since the establishment of the society. In the classroom also, that teachers and administrators, they also assign the responsibility, they also discriminate, they demonstrate gender stereotype behavior, and the response gender stereotype behavior, and they discriminate. Even if you go back to the history of our workforce, that you might have seen in corporate sectors and in industries, only few girls they are appointed. Even if for engineering subjects, as sir was highlighting all those things, for engineering subject, for civil and for mechanical, for electronics engineering, and all these, you might have seen that most of the boys they enroll, and only few girls they take admission. Now the situation is changing, but there is a disparity in the ratio, if you see. So teachers also, they suggest to take subjects, while so far as education is concerned. And sometimes even if I was working at West Bengal for 10, 12 years, I asked the students to take such subjects. That will be better for you. For the girls, we suggest. That is the construct of the teachers, in the mindset of the teachers, as are discussed, that we suggest these are the subjects. That bioscience for the girls, we ask you take bioscience or chemistry and computer science and engineering and mathematics, physics, all these subjects for boys. And same is the case also in a case of gender socialization, and the children they tend to play with the same gender peers. That they sometimes due to the impact of the society, due to the attitude of the family members, that they differentiate them, that this is not the appropriate gender to play. They segregate. Even if the games and sports are specific for the girls and the boys, no, though that notion has been changing. So that is also there. And also media is also one of the important in previous times. If you see the movies, if you see the television with different channels, and if you go through the books, even if the examples, if you see the examples given in the books, is maybe maths or any, that Ram and Sam, that might have mentioned, that all the games regarding discussion regarding games, not mentioned about the any examples that has been narrated about the okay. So this difference, this variations, that is from a long time that we have observed that there is a gender discrimination and gender issues. And so far as gender issues in the birth also, that I'm just giving you a single example. If the first child is the girl, the parents they try to detect the second that gender, what will be the gender of the second child, that denial of birth and all. Then fundamental needs. Say for an example, We are giving more costly dresses, quality foods, and educations to the boys, and not to the girls. The girls will study in the Bangla medium or Odia medium. The boy will go, the son will go to the English medium. So that is a discrimination. And discrimination in employment also. Discrimination in employment and also wages. Wages you can find. We are paying 300 rupees to the female worker and we are paying 400 rupees to the male worker. That is the discrimination in the employment. Wage discrimination, employment also, that if you see that girls mostly they are absorbed in the teaching, not in industrial sector, not in corporate sector, not in agriculture and other fields. That on most of the industries, that if you see, I belong to Jajpur, Keonjhar Road, and there are mostly 14-15 industries are there. I hope only 1% female workers they are working in the industries. Overall, all the industries you can find only 1 to 2% of workers, though they are eligible, but they are not being appointed, and only the official purposes, some computer and other related jobs they are doing, and some housekeeping staffs are there. So mostly you can find that boys are working, that male members are working. Even if a few years back, if you go to the banks, now the situation is changing. If you go to the bank, you will find only the male persons, they are working in the banks, but now the situation has been changed. So these are the areas of gender discrimination, which and there are so many causes, there are so many factors of gender discrimination, that the poverty is one, illiteracy, lack of employment facilities, customs and traditions, that that our Indian customs and traditions is a factor, and social attitude and lack of awareness regarding rights among the women, and that gender discrimination at different levels of institutions. As sir was discussing, that even if in different religions we have that a woman or a girl cannot be the priest, he cannot or she cannot enter to particular religious place, and there are also family codes. Why the father's title will be there, that why the that will be there, and civil liberties, that is also another social gender discrimination that is there, and physical integrity, and that we see that mostly domestic violence, sexual violence, female genital, all these problems, and son preference, ownership rights, that most of the lands, almost 70% of the lands are in the son's name, not on the daughter's name. If the father is buying, that in the son name, not in the daughter name. And cultural institutions also, that is an example. If you go see the Christianity, that even if in Hindu, that some changes are taking place, but still then the priest, only a father can be a priest, not the sister. And a male priest in the Hindu culture also, a male in Christianity also, the males, they can be the priest, not the female. So in cultural institutions also, religious institution also, there is a difference, and there is a gender biasness. And if you see the economic institutions also, their labor participation and wages, access to credit also, that most of the girls, they are deprived. Property rights, corporate sector also. In political, you see, I think only a few states, they have given the reservation of 33%. Even if in educational institutions, in Odisha, there is a, even if in the employment, 33% to the girls, to the women's, that is reserved. Also in the assembly, in all elections, starting from panchayat election to municipal, as well as all the your legislative assembly, they are only participating. There is a 33% girls, they are that is reserved for the women's. So that is one of the advantage, but all the states they are discriminating. So that is what that is there. And educational institutions, as I have discussed, in schooling, if you see that the ratio, that dropouts cases are more in among girls rather than boys, and that is the reason the parents, they don't they hesitate to send their children for higher studies, to spend much, and that is why they are engaging in their household work. They are taking care of the younger ones. So there are so many reasons about dropouts, and apart from the social issues, apart from the economic issues, and there is a mind set up that that over the years, that decreasing, that the ratio of the girl in the schools is decreasing compared to the female counterpart. Even if you see from different census survey and from different survey, the education of the girls is not at par with the boys. Even if in the secondary education, till primary, it's somehow equal or little bit lesser than the boys. In secondary and higher education, in the technical education, the case is very not very sound, and that you can find. That is with regard to educational institutions. So these are the disparity and gender disparity we see in the society, and for eradicating, for removing all these disparities, and various committees, commissions, various laws are enacted. Human rights, women reservation bills are there, and various laws with regard to rape, that is there, that 375 IPC is there. Then dowry related act are there, dowry prohibition acts are there, and also the laws related to remarriage, laws related to divorce, all these are there and has come up. And the education, the human rights and women rights commissions are there. Different legal provisions are there for kidnapping, for torture, for mental, physical torture, all these sexual harassment. Employees, that Visakha committee is there for UGC. They have framed a policy that what should be, and for labor, for wages disparity, they have fixed. And act, Hindu marriage, Muslim marriage, and different marriage acts are there, special marriage acts are there, and factories amendments are there, child marriage act are there, equal remuneration act is there, and the commission of sati was there, domestic violence, that act is there. So many acts are there for eradicating these gender issues and gender violence. And that even if various committees and commissions, they have suggested how to remove this gender bias, starting from post-independence. If you see, starting from secondary education, the various provisions have been made for the education of the girls, then Kothari Commission, then your National Policy on Education, revised 68, 86, and 92, then your NEP 2020, there is that main motto of NEP 2020 is equity and equitable society and inclusive. That inclusive, while we are talking about inclusive, that also the girls, they are also involved there. So as they are deprived, and that is why that inclusive concept is also given more importance for raising the standards and raising the and safeguarding their rights. So how this is an issue, how the education can help, how the gender issues education can help for removing these gender issues and biasness, and we can become socialized and socialization. As you know, that education is one of the important factor and instrument for removing or reducing these issues. So we have to develop a self-concept and self-esteem, positive self-concept and self-esteem among the students. That is the role of the teacher, that we have to develop that concept among the children, as they can develop positive attitude and they can have esteem for the girls. And that is one of the important aspect. As well as the curriculum, while we are framing, there should not be any discrimination, and some subjects that that many commissions, they have suggested not to discriminate for girls, any curriculum for girls or boys. Home science, particularly in previous time that home science was there, that home science was meant for the girls. Now food and nutrition, that anyone, a boy can take also a subject of food or nutrition or food technology. That that is the gender bias curriculum. That particular curriculum was framed for the girls. So that should not be. So how we can remove? What is the role of the teacher? What is the role of the institutions, educational institutions? How we can, through teaching and learning material, we can eradicate these gender issues? What are the teaching strategies as a teacher we can use? That we have to. We have to so some film analysis we can do, that teaching strategies, that where gender equality is given priority in some films, that we can give. And advertisement, that we can analyze the different advertisement. We can analyze the biographies. Say for an example, in now you know the forthcoming that who is going to be the president of India, that suggested, selected. You know that is also one of the important factor for this gender socialization. That there is a notion, there was a notion that our country, a lady cannot head the country. So we had the previous president. Now we are also that going to select the country is that majority of the party who is ruling party is going to nominate the person and select the person who is from, and that kind of examples, biographies. Even if that IS and IPS. Earlier, mostly the boys, they were going, in most of the cases, if you see all the collectors, if you see 80% of the collectors, senior collectors and commissioner, they are the boys, they are the male members. So that notion we have to change, that the girls, they can also equally have contribution for the society, and they can take any discipline, that how they are prospering. And we can cite examples that how a lady can run both the family and balance both the work and life, family life, that can be. An analysis of autobiography for the great women, that those who have a contribution for the society, contribution for as a changing role in the society, that we can have. And role play is a learning strategy which is very important. So we can enact some role play of different issues where we can reduce the gender bias. And lecture strategy, other strategy we can do while we are lecturing. Most of the cases, what we do, we just give more importance. We just give more importance to the boys than girls. We cite examples for the boys. We just give priority to the boys, that can be, and their gender equality for the students in the classroom while we are lecturing, while we are citing examples, while we are narrating, while we are reviewing, even if group discussion. So why the teacher is separating and segregating the boys and girls in different benches, that can be started according to their convenience. They can sit, and we can have why boys and girls are separated for any activities. While the students girls, they will sit, while the boys, they will play football, or they are playing the cricket. That notion we can start. So the project we can give, that which the girls they can do, the project that the discussion, group discussion we can have for both. And like this, we can change the mindset of the students from the classroom itself, and the gender issues that can be changed. And classroom transaction is one of the important, and most of the teachers, they are stereotype. That what is stereotype? The girls, they are good nature, they are calm. The boys, they are noisy, they are hyperactive, and that is the notion we have. The girls, say for an example, for any program, if there is a program, we call the girls to serve the food, to sweep the room, to clean the room. Why not the boys? To shift, the boys are asked to for marketing, boys are asked for shifting, boys are asked for transporting, for looking after all these things. So this discrimination, we can involve all boys and girls. So the stereotype concept, and that what the teacher has in the classrooms. Why in my village, I have observed, particularly, that most of the people in Odisha, they are very conservative. They never allow the girls to wear jeans or t-shirts, all these things. So why should that? Why should we discriminate? That whatever that he likes or she likes, let her to dress. So even if that body language while we are teaching, and that some female teachers, if they have a negative attitude towards boys, they scold all the time, and the male teacher, if they have a negative or positive attitude, they do the same. So likewise, that gender bias through body language or on that unfriendly sitting arrangement and transaction of subjects, even if, as I said, that girls they are asked to take that literature or language, and boys they are asked to take mathematics and science subjects, that we should remove. As a result of that, this problem can be highlighted, that can be resolved. And gender stereotype in addressing students in prayer, in assembly, what we do, or while we are entering in the classroom, the teacher is wishing or greeting, good morning guys. Why good morning guys? Why good morning guys? Good morning, rather you say good morning all, good morning students, or you can say you can use something which will not affect that particular gender, and we have to establish gender friendly rules in the classroom. Have a classroom sitting plan that supports equal participation, that we have to follow certain rules which will have equal participation, and group work must be given, addressing students equally. As I said, in a balanced way, we have to talk, we have to address in any platform, and then provide enough wait time to answer questions. If girls are taking more time, they will have a comfortable position to stand. Okay, you sit, you cannot answer. While a boy is standing up immediately and answering, then we are praising. So they take time to stand up, and suddenly they do not stand up. They hesitate to stand up while you are asking. So you take time, you give ample opportunity. What she is telling, listen, and they explain so many things, and most of the cases they do not give pinpointed answers. So you listen at the end. You listen at the end till the end what she is telling, and give them a reinforcement properly. Sometimes what happened, even if same is the cases, issues not only that I am talking about the girls or boys. Even if sometimes if a boy is answering nicely, we never reinforce or never give a positive reinforcement. A girl is answering, we are giving positive reinforcement. So that neutral language, gender neutral language, that we have to use, that we have to great body language also, while discipline also, that we say that I hope the girls are making noise in the class and the girls were laughing. So that instead of inquiring, sometimes in the class what we do, we just rebuke the girls for any reason, and the teacher is an agent for change. The teacher is an agent for change in the context of gender and socialization. That what we need to do, we need to change, as Professor Mandal said, that we need to change our mindset up. That we need to change our mindset up, because teacher is an agent of social change. Teacher is an agent of social development. Teacher is an agent of social welfare for anything. That teacher has a lots of responsibility that a teacher can change. So girls and women get typically less attention, less eye contact, and less encouragement. That we should. There are some research studies which is gender discrimination and gender biasness are there, and that females are more likely to be praised for their attractiveness or neatness. So sometimes we praise the girls. You look so very nice. You look so attractive. Why not for the boys? So that neatness for you also equally you have to praise the other part. For creativity or for neatly writing, we are praising the girls. So in the same case also we have to find out the boys also they write well, we have to give also equal. And when males speak, teachers often engage in a dialogue with them, whereas girls and women speak and what you are answering, not appropriate answer, please do sit, you know nothing, you do not study at well at home, you are busy in social media, I see you are only busy in your makeup and you are going to the beauty parlor and only you are showing up your facial and developing your facial attraction rather than living studies, giving importance to the studies. Such statements we give with the teachers sometimes when we review. Instead of their studies, we just give more importance to other aspects, which is gender issues and gender bias. And female students may be interrupted more often and be called on less often in many classes. Female students, they are interrupted, we never listen. And also, teachers are morely, they call the males. Go and bring the duster, go and bring some chalks, go and bring a cup of tea for me. The teachers, they send. Sometimes in Odisha, I have seen most of the teachers, they send for fun that beetles, to the students. Why you have come? That my teacher has sent for fun or beetles. So why? So even if for any reason, for shifting some files, for shifting the books, for shifting the almiras, for any reason, the boys are asked. Here is the case also for decoration, for hospitality, for serving, for any other reasons, the girls are asked. So this is some of the issues we have to ponder about. And ensure that you have positive attitude towards gender-free society. Most of the, as you know, that gender is a construct, it is in our mind, as various theories are there in education. That psychoanalytic theory by Freud is there, and psychosocial theory is there. Different theories are there. So that is a construct that we have to change our attitude. We have to change our attitude. While in some religions also, even if they are the girls, they are interested to wear some particular dress, but the parents, the society, they do not allow or they do not permit. So that is another we have to see in positive aspect. And check your awareness of gender issues. That as a teacher, we have to check. Understand that gender is a social construct. That if someone is taken birth as a female child, that is the biological fact, as Professor Mandal said. That is not her fault. If someone is transgender also, that is not her fault. So that is a biological construct, sociology, social construct and biological construct. And transform curriculum accordingly. That gender and class equality, you might have seen in most of the, particularly in Bihar and UP, that the focuses are for caste. Many examples which is a barrier, which is not supposed to be there, but they have cited some examples which is creating a gender bias in the curriculum. So the curriculum constructor, those who are curriculum experts, that those who are designing the curriculum, they must have to think that we must not write down such things that which will affect a particular gender, that bias the gender. And also hidden curriculums are there, some hidden curriculums that though it is not curriculum, indirectly we are suppressing a particular group, that is also there. Transform the hidden curriculum. So the needs, we have to take care of the needs, that how the authorities, they have to accept the reality, the exercise their power in the classrooms. They can, though we cannot write in the book, but in course of discussion, in course of illustration, in course of interaction, a teacher can address these issues and focus on textbooks. Textbooks must be that one of the important area of concern, sex role stereotyping in course book. That we have to, research reveals that the gender roles are set in the textbooks. If you analyze the contents of the textbook, if you analyze the syllabus, different syllabus, you can find there are also gender bias and gender issues, which are not supposed to. Some stereotypes, some male-dominated, male-preferred words are used that should be omitted, and focus on use of language that some man-made language. We beta chele, me chele. What is this? So we use this man-made language that we use most of the cases. Then avoid general misleading vocabulary. Some misleading vocabulary we use in the class, and particularly which affects the both males as well as females, that we should avoid. That be aware the limitations of using some vocabulary. We have to be very careful. And for co-curricular activities, that in most of the schools I have seen in my states, and the sports teacher, PT teachers, most of the games they arrange for the boys, and at that time the girls they gossip or they roam here and there, and or they sit together and watch the boys games, boys sports while they are playing. So that should not be. That if you are a teacher, you have to arrange for both boys and girls the games. In the game period, you must be engaged those students, and select gender-free instructional materials. While you are instructional materials, we are preparing that most of the cases, while if you say the great men, mostly we take the pictures of a great man of the male members, those who have significant contribution for the society. Why not female members? If we thinkers, if we are including in educational thinker or social reformer, mostly we mention the persons those who have contributed, male persons those who have contributions. So that select gender-free instructional materials as well as curriculum, then develop gender-neutral attitude. That is very important for gender socialization. That gender-neutral attitude, as I said, as Professor Mandal said, that dolls will be purchased, shall be generally we purchase for the girls, and the kitchen items we purchase for the girls, and bats or carom board or something like toys which that are gone, or like that we, or cricket items we buy for the boys. So that is there we have to. And say for an example, we appreciate most of the classes. What we do, the parents they fix that for the son. I have observed, if you crack the need, and I will give you a bike or a laptop for 1 lakh or something like that, very valuable goods to the boys, or you can say son, not in case of daughter. Even if she is performing well, that the old cycle she is taking and going, even if she is traveling in the local transport instead of giving a scooty. So why not we should give rewards to the girls? That is and even if in most of the cases, we do this we do a particular gender specific behavior we show, and we must use the neutral language, gender neutral language. So we have to promote, we have to develop materials, we have to develop course materials for promoting gender equality, and have gender equal practices. That is there in classroom. A teacher must follow the gender equal practices, plan in gendered patterns of classroom organization and interaction, involve both in learning process equally, both boys and girls equally you have to give, impart sex education at proper time. That some wrong notions, though it was an agenda in few years back to introduce sex education in the secondary curriculum, but many states they objected that it should not be introduced. That is a wrong notions. That present yourself as a real role model. That you are not a role. You should show your behavior, your attitude, your qualities you should go so as a mirror before the students, not as a gender role, not as a male teacher, not as a female teacher. That you should not be. And plan gender-free career counseling. That most of the institutions, that even if career counseling, what while we do, that we suggest to take a particular vocation or profession, choose particular vocation or profession for the girls, and for entry into the service we prepare or enroll. Say for an examples, if you see in Kolkata also, I have seen in the coaching centers, even if you at Bhubaneswar, that you will find the different types of coaching centers are there, and mostly the girls, they prefer those jobs and they enroll there, their parents they enroll. So before suggesting for any vocation, so you should not discriminate. Anything they can work, anything they can do. Even if for you can see now for defense, the girls they are entering that even if for educational Havildar, as well as for Air Force instructor, they are doing teachers in the different defense wings. They can do, but many they do not know. No, girls are not eligible. Now you can find most of the girls, they are entering in different vocations like your RPF, CRPF, and IC, that Central Industrial Police Force. So earlier I used to see only few, one or two. Now in every station, all the big stations you can find, because that is the change mind setup of the parents. That is the setup of the society, that we should promote them. They can go for any type of a job. That stereotype that this is for girls, this is for boys, that should not be. And change the vocabulary to suit the need. Avoid assigning tasks in traditional style. That why the girls they will wear saris and the boys they can wear anything else. So why this is a mind setup? Even if some education in weird institutions I have seen that they why not a casual dress, even if not salwar suits, so anything in the same color and uniform she can use, so that can be done. So these are the issues we need to address. There are some challenges in our educational institutions, the role of teacher, the role of educational institution, role of the head of the institutions, and as well as there is a great role for the stakeholders, particularly the administrator, the policy makers, though various policies are there. So discriminating, while we are asking about the women university, that is a gender discrimination. While we are talking about the girls college or women's college, that is a gender discrimination. So that is now the policy is an NEP 2020 highlighting the inclusive education, equitable and inclusive society, then equity and equality. So all this we must give importance, and the obstacles which we have for gender discrimination, that education can play a vital role for gender socialization among the parents, among the family members, among the neighbors, as well as for the institutions. That education has a great roles, though various theories are there in education for gender issues and identity of gender and socialization theories are there. Sir has discussed some theories. In education also, we have some socialization theory for gender identity. That social learning theory by Albert Bandura is there, that many of us we study, as well as psychodynamic theory, structural theory of gender identity is there. So these theories that reveal that how that gender issues and gender biasness are there, and we can streamline we can help through education. And education has a great role, because it open the eyes of an individual. If you even if the society, we are living in the modern society, socialization is there, and urbanization, we are urbanized now, and that is industrial development is there. So many factors are there, and globalization is there. Still then we are preferring to send the boy or the son to the abroad, not the girls. That we are going along with the daughter for any interview, for appearing any interview. Not even if in the examination time I have seen most of the mothers and fathers, they come along with their son and daughter and they sit in the hot summer for long hours, and there is no place, Kolkata, and still then they sit for 3 and 4 hours. They come before half an hour or 1 hour and they go 5 hours almost, they remain there. So why we should accompany? Let if a girl can go alone, can work alone, can get secure, even when the role of a father would be to cook. That why the mother will cook. The father, when the father will cook, when the father will help in the domestic work, when the father will look after the children, in most of the countries, you can see developed countries, the father that take most of the responsibility and they share the responsibility. That's the reason behind that the mother, the reason behind many girls are they are living. Even if I have seen some of my students, they are leaving the job when they are getting married, because they have to look after the family, they have to look after the children, and after all, they are not allowed to stay in nearby their workplace. So many constraints are there. So this education only can help from the beginning, that our curriculum, our transaction practices, classroom transaction practices, our teachers' attitude, teachers' mentality, that we have to change. We have to educate. We have to literate. That only simply the policies are there. No, with the people, they know that if we commit some mistakes, say for an example, rape or domestic violence, their laws are there. But still then they are doing. So unless we realize its consequences, unless we respect the particular genders, and unless we, so far as discrimination is there from the family itself, from in the educational institution itself, so this cannot be solved. We cannot resolve the issues. So we have to think, we have to ponder another thing. For studying in private institutions, for professional institutions, the parents, they are spending 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs for medical, for not for the girls, for their son they are spending, not for the daughter. For daughters, if they do not qualify, they can enroll in for nursing for 2 to 3 lakhs or 5 lakhs they are paying. But whereas the rich parents also, the highly educated parents, they are paying 80 lakhs, 1 crore for studying medical science. So this is a problem. So we have to not only that we have to frame the policies, not only we have to redesign our curriculum, so we have to think it in a societal context and in a broader outlook. We must develop a broader outlook, that as a human being we have to see everyone. Then only there we can remove inequality, we can remove disparity, we can remove ignorance among the parents, and gender issues, what is prevailing, that can be diminished day by day. And now it has been changed in my states. I'm giving you a simple example, only 1 or 2 sentences I will complete. In my times, I got married 18 years back. That time it was very difficult. The parents, if they have a daughter, they were crying, how I will manage money to give marriage to my daughters. And now since last 2 to 3 years, and there is no dowry in Odisha, and all the girls, they are getting married, though most of the marriages are in arranged marriage in my state. Almost 80% are arranged marriage. So 80% those who are arranged marriage also, and their parents, they never ask a dowry, because there is a conscience, and also they have realized that we should not take dowry. So this is the mind setup of the people, and that is another reason the girls, they are educated and they are aware, and they are also not in a favor their parents supposed to pay dowry for marriage. So the girls, they are empowered due to the women education, due to the women participation, different work, due to the digital, due to the literacy, digital literacy, due to the media, impact of media, that problem has been resolved. But still then, there are some gender violence, even if that as the people of West Bengal, the girls of West Bengal, they are aware about their rights. But in my state, even if you beat, even if you scold, even if you rebuke, even if you punish, and that they never raise questions. Most of the girls, due to the societal issues, due to their different factors and barriers, they never raise questions. But that we should look equally both, even if the in-laws, their mindset of has been changed. The বাড়ির বউ সে শাড়ি পরতে হবে, এই যে কনসেপ্টটা ছিল, অ্যাটলিস্ট 2 to 3 years 5 years back, that has been changed. এখন আমি দেখছি অনেক তারা ফ্রিডম পাচ্ছে, বাট স্টিল দেন ইন রুরাল এরিয়াস that stigma is there, that she cannot wear whatever she likes, and at the end the বাড়ির বউ লাস্টেই খাবে, সে খাবার থাকুক না থাকুক লাস্টেই খাবে। এই জিনিসগুলো যখন যাবে, যখন বাড়ির বউ সব কাজ করবে, যদি বর যদি হেল্প করলো, তাহলে এসে মা বলবে, ছেলে যদি হেল্প করলো, why are you doing like that? That is her work, then you do, then let her to sleep, let her to watch TV, you do you cook. So like this the people they say. So this is due to ignorance, this is due to the poor mentality, this is due to the gender biasness and gender inequality and gender issues what is prevailing in the society, that we all must try our level best to eradicate all these issues, and that equal contributions, that everyone as they can live with peacefully, they can enjoy their freedom, they can understand their right, and that is the role of education. We have to socialize, gender socialize. It can be possible only through education, and education has a great role. So thank you all. This is all about. I'm not a man of sociology. We just study about educational sociology and sociological foundations. That the topic which you have selected, that is not taught directly, that gender socialization, but we study at that gender issues in classrooms, in curriculums, in teachings, and in educational institutions. All these we have in our syllabus, but in the real sense, this is not our area. What gender socialization in now in new B.Ed curriculum, particularly in 2014 guideline, NCT 2014 guideline, this is gender school and society is a paper which has been introduced recently from 2014. I hope that the teacher educators, they must be trained, and the teacher trainees, they must be aware about the various gender issues and inequality. As a result of these issues cannot sustain for longer period of time, and this within this 21st century, or the end of the or another 10 years, within 10 years, or by 2050 or 30 or 40, at least, that all male and female, they can equally enjoy their freedoms, and there will be no discrimination in the society what is prevailing today. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Thank you for giving me opportunity to share my views. I am not a sociologist or anthropologist. I belong from education background, so I tried to highlight a few issues with regard to curriculum, methods of teaching, classroom practices, and day-to-day classroom transaction with regard to gender socialization and education. Thank you all. Over to Madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a beautiful discussions. We are really enriched with a lot of knowledge. And now, Priyanka ma'am, I will ask Priyanka ma'am to start the question answer session. Ma'am, are you here?
Yes, ma'am, I am here. Good evening, Dr. Acharya. Good evening, Dr. Acharya.
Yeah.
Am I audible to you? Yes, sir. One question has arisen from Dr. Rongit Sengupta, faculty member of Khejuri College, and his question is, We know that brain processes and cognition often differ across gender identities. How can we arrive at a more gender neutral process of evaluating students?
Would you repeat the questions again, madam?
Yes, sir. We know that brain processes and cognition often differ across gender identities. How
Yes.
can we arrive at a more gender neutral process of evaluating students?
Okay. Uh, Very nice question. You know that gender is a social construct, and this is that biological identity of a person. That the self concept is very important, particularly while we are talking about the psychology. Psychology self concept is very important, and the self concept, if you do not understand, if you do not introspect yourself, that introspecting ourselves, and say for an example, while we are punishing a girl, or while we are giving hatred speech to a girl, so you should look ourselves, if I would be in that case, if she would be my daughter, if she would be my mother, or she would be my relatives, then what would be happen? Then how she would be, what would be her feelings? So self concept is very important. We have to understand our strength and weakness, and we have to see the not only that whatever the social behavior, whatever the that stereotype behavior, what we have observed or what we have acquired, and that most of the things we acquired, that inherited only once, that whether we are male or female, but most of the gender biasness or gender issues or gender inequality, that we learned from the society, we learned from the family members, we learned from the peers, that whatever it is. So we have to think, we have to before we speak, before we do, before we act, that we have to introspect ourselves. So what I am telling, whether that is right, I am a boy, I can tell anything, that I can rebuke, I can scold, I can use vulgar language, but a girl cannot use that one. That does not mean, I am mightier than a girl, so I am doing. So that construct we have to change in our mind, that if I would be in that case, what would be happen? If that we think, definitely that cognition, that that metacognition or cognitive level, if we think, and affective domain is also very important. Affective domain, that how, what would be the feeling, what would be the reaction, that we have to also realize in our cognitive level. Then we can change our attitude, our behavior, our pattern of activities, that can be possible. Okay.
Hello.
Thank you,
Hello.
sir. I hope Dr. Sengupta has got his answer. Thank you so much. No more question for you, sir. No more question is here for you, sir. Thank you.
Ma'am, may I ask one question?
Okay, madam.
Yeah, ma'am. You can
I asked some
directly to our speaker.
Hello.
Sir, yes, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, listening.
Sir, should teachers start introducing gender equality concepts to children from very young age, or they should start this kind of concept at an older age? The question I have asked this question just to know that we know that it is very difficult for children to adopt concepts theoretically. If they are at an older age, then they can realize theoretical concepts. But how can we, is it possible, or how can we introduce this kind of gender equality concepts among children of very young age? This is the question,
Yes.
sir.
A silly example I am giving you, that while I was in class 2 or 3, I am not remembering properly. That time in our school we had no toilets. And most of my friends, that my peers, that the boy can go toilets at any time. But what happened to the girls particularly? Some were standing. That there was nothing that she is a girl or she that we should not. Sometimes also in the beginning, what we do, we go together and we do toilets in the same place. But later on, what happened when they grown up and that the mind setup has changed and they learn from the society that I am a girl. I should not play with my male counterpart or the boys of the schools. But in the beginning, we play together. We played together for many years. I think I remember till 5 or 6. That after that, what happened? Our grandmother, our grandfathers, our parents, our society. আরে তোর কি কোনো বেটা ছেলের বন্ধু নেই, সবসময় মেয়ে ছেলেদের সাথে খেলাধুলা করছিস, ছেলেদের সাথে খেলছিস না কেন? So this is a construct of the society. This is the mentality of the people. তারপরে আমরা কি হচ্ছে, ডিফারেন্সিয়েশন হচ্ছে। আমরা যখন ছোট ছিলাম তখন যে কোনো একটা ফাঁকা দেখে জায়গা আমরা বসে পড়তাম। এখন কিন্তু একটা মেয়ে বসে থাকলেও যখন বড় হয়ে যায় ক্লাসে, যখন আমরা ক্লাস 6-7 যাই, তখন একটা মেয়ে বসে থাকলেও একটা লং বেঞ্চে, তখন একটা ছেলে গিয়ে লাস্ট বেঞ্চে, ওর বন্ধুরা 4 জন বসে আছে, সেখানে বসবে কিন্তু একটা মেয়ের সাথে বসবে না। এটা কে শেখালো? This is that we have taught, that teachers have taught, peers they have inspired, or they have given clues not to sit, or the family members they teach. Now you have grown up, you don't sit. But the same is the case also. A boy or a girl, when he is getting older, they are not sleeping with the parents. They are we are arranging a separate beds. But in the beginning there was no mindset up. So they need privacy. That is for the societal point of view, I am telling. So we are preparing like that. They have become grown up, they are not supposed to. Even if a son and daughter, we need to have a separate room. But in the beginning, they all, father, mother, everyone was sleeping in the same room. So this is the construct that we need a separate room. Even if the same the parents, the son and daughter are of the same parents. So this is happening. So the society, even if the old age or the younger age, that does not matter. That society is teaching all the gender biases and issues and discriminating from the very beginning till the age old. Say for an example, when we are wearing a clothes, that the boys should wear such colors and girls should wear such colors. That why boys now, the mind setup is changing in some societies. Even if now I have seen the girls, they are wearing hot pants or short pants, but the parents, they are allowing. In my time, even if I say for an example, even if I was not allowed to sing a song, because a student should not sing a song, my elder brother came and slapped me. Why are you singing? You should study now. You see, these are the restrictions we had from the family itself. So that notion is changing. Why the earlier girls were not participating in NCC? Now the girls are participating in NCC. Most of the NCC cadets, I see girls, they prefer. So this mind setup we have to change, and parents, they have to teach. They have to teach them not only with regard to gender, rather what is good for them. What is good for them, that we should teach. And another thing I am citing you, we are telling not to go out to the girls in the night or the late evening. But why we are not teaching our son not to misbehave or not to criticize or not to passing comments to the girls? That we are not doing. So this is the thing that is happening, that we should change the mindset from the family itself, because charity begins at home.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Ma'am, I think there is another question. Priyanka, ma'am?
Yes, I have seen that, ma'am. Recently, sir, we have got another question from Devashish Sarkar, and he asked that how we fabricated curriculum at different levels like primary, secondary, higher educational level.
Once
Right?
again, could you repeat, please, madam?
Yes, sir. Devashish Sarkar has asked that how we fabricated curriculum at different levels like primary, secondary, higher educational level.
Yeah. You just see uh, in Indian context that there was a stereotype curriculum in the beginning. Now that curriculum is designed keeping into view of certain principles. Some principles are there for preparing curriculums, and some approaches are there for preparing curriculum. So while we are preparing curriculum and we are following certain principles, and every country has its every levels, every grades, there are certain objectives. Say for an example, at elementary stage, that the children they supposed to learn this and this. Say for example, simple mathematical calculation and social studies, this and thus, and reading, writing, speaking, and listening abilities in language or literature. So all these they should study. So there are certain according to their cognitive domains, according to their levels, that curriculum is prepared. And also, while curriculum is prepared, that is prepared now it is prepared in looking into the inclusive concept, that is prepared, that as each and everyone, now there is a no priority is not given for opening special schools or for giving a particular type of curriculum for a particular group. So curriculum should be prepared in such a way that it should meet the needs, diversified needs of the students. That is the main issues, that we are failed to prepare a curriculum which will helpful for their future needs, which will be helpful for earning their livelihoods, for preparing for their rest of the lives, for preparing for bread and butter end. So that is the lacuna. That is why NEP 2020 has highlighted that vocationalization of education. That very small countries, that if you see, they are more empowered and they are more skillful. That skill matters. That we are not. That girls, they can perform well. Boys also they can perform well in some fields, and both boys and girls they can also interchangeably or equally they can perform in some cases. But are we able to meet their needs, their future challenges? We are preparing, we are just promoting the students, and we are creating a bulk of unemployed for our future generations. So that is the reason that we have to empower, and girls are not confined to the four walls. They are not meant for cooking, for keeping the taking care of the child. That we have to think. So we have to redesign our curriculum in such a way where both male and female, both boys and girls, they can equally enjoy, they can equally opt the curriculum, and they can perform well, and they can maintain their livelihood properly. Because if both members of the family they worked, and that prosperity, that gross development, that GDP will be increased, as well as the different issues. Even if gender, that most of the family violence and domestic violence that can be reduced if both are working, and they will have less time to talk and discuss and useless discussion. They will be busy in their work. So that is the main point, that curriculum must be designed in such a way which can empower the individuals for earning their livelihoods. That is the motto, that we are still failed, that various curriculum specialists, they are trying their level best to prepare the curriculum. NCF 2022 as per the NEP 2020 recommendation. Now it is under construction. I hope we will see a vibrant curriculum which are coming, because most of us that our education system has become the utilitarian based rather than outcome based. কত মার্কস পাবো, that is very important rather than what I learn, what are the skills I acquired, what are the experience I gathered. That is the least important in present day education system. We are only distributing degrees and diplomas to the students and preparing a huge unemployed generation, which will be the crisis for Indian society, for Indian for country, our country. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this nice discussion. Priyanka ma'am, should I shift to the next part, or is there any question? Any more question?
No, ma'am, there is no more question here.
Okay, ma'am. Now, from this discussion, we came to know about gender biasness in different fields, gender disparities, how laws and bills and different acts are helping us to remove this kind of disparities. We also came to know about the inclusive education, how teachers should play a role to develop and bring about social welfare and social changes and many more activities. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this valuable discussion. Now, I would like to ask Priyanka ma'am to deliver the vote of thanks after this session. Ma'am, please start.
Yeah, ma'am. Good evening, one and all, those who are present in this gathering. Respected patron and honorable president of governing body, Khejuri College, Dr. Parthu Pratim Das, honorable principal sir and chairperson of this webinar, Dr. Ashwin Kumar Manna, respected coordinator, IQAC, Khejuri College, Dr. Gautam Dandapat, respected member of IQAC, Dr. Rongit Sengupta, convener of the webinar, Dr. Smriti Rai and Dr. Pounami Mukherjee, our most valued invited guest speakers, respectful participants, honorable professors, faculty members of various departments, and our beloved students. It gives me an immense pleasure to take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks to all who have helped us in making this webinar such a great success. I, Priyanka Gupta, Assistant Professor of Sociology Department in Khejuri College, and as a part of organizing member of this event on behalf of the organizing committee, would like to express my first gratitude and warm regards to Professor Sheikh Rahim Mondol, Honorary Professor of Sociology and Anthropology, North Bengal University, Siliguri, West Bengal, and Dr. Amulya Kumar Acharya, Associate Professor, PG Department of Education, Fakir Mohan University, Balasore, Odisha, for being a part of this webinar as a guest speaker and for sharing their views, ideas on the proposed topic, which was gender, socialization, and education, processual continuity and change. The valuable information which has covered by them regarding the theme is really help us to know about the gender-based socialization through the viewpoints of sociological and educational aspects. I also show my gratitude to them once again because it is really valuable to us that they have evaluated their time from the busy circumference of their agenda. Nextly, I would like to escalate my gratitude to Dr. Ashwin Kumar Manna, Principal of Khejri College, as well as the Chairperson of current event, for his active inspiration to conduct this webinar. Perhaps without his consent and support, such a kind of national level webinar might not be possible. I also would like to express my warm regards to Dr. Rungit Sengupta, member of IQAC and Departmental Head of English, Kesri College, for delivering the welcome address of the present event. I also give a special thanks to Dr. Gautam Dandapat, Departmental Head of Bengali and IQAC Coordinator, Kesri College, for proposing this graceful webinar. Without his restless effort, we are not be able to become a part of this. Here on now, this is my immense gratitude to the convener, Dr. Sriti Rai, HOD of Sociology Department, and Dr. Poulami Mukherjee, HOD of Education Department in Khejri College, for choosing the theme of today's discussion, as well as inviting our dignified speakers on this special occasion, to which our webinar has reached to the pinnacle of success. I also would like to convey grateful thanks to all the faculty members of Sociology and Education Department, Degree College, as of the organizing members. Without their collaboration, it will not be possible to organize the event. Before last, I would like to give a special thanks to Dr. Pratik Dash and Mr. Rajkumar Maiti for giving the technical support to this webinar. Last but not the least, I am conveying my last gratitude to all the delegates once again, along with the students, researchers, and participants. A huge success. Hopefully, we all have learned a whole bunch of different aspects from our esteemed speakers. We all looking forward such a kind of program is to be organized once again. So now, Poulami Mukherjee to take over this program with Dr. Ashwin Kumar Manna, Principal of Khejri College, to draw the conclusion and end line of this.
আমরা এই প্রোগ্রামের একদম শেষ পর্বে চলে এসেছি।
Ma'am, please.
আমি আমাদের এই প্রোগ্রামের সভাপতি মহাশয় ডক্টর অসীম কুমার মান্না স্যারকে এই আলোচনা সভার শেষ আলোচনা সমাপ্তি করার জন্য অনুরোধ করছি।
আজকের এই ওয়েবিনারে আমরা এই জেন্ডার ইকুয়ালিটি এবং হ্যালো,
হ্যাঁ স্যার, শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
আজকের ওয়েবিনারে এই জেন্ডার ইকুয়ালিটি বিষয়ে যে মূল্যবান আলোচনা হলো, এই আলোচনা দুজন অতিথি যারা আমাদের যথেষ্ট জ্ঞানগর্ভ বক্তৃতার মাধ্যমে এই জেন্ডার ইকুয়ালিটি সম্পর্কে বললেন, আমরা তা থেকে অনেকটাই অবগত হলাম। অনেকগুলো দিক নতুনভাবে তারা তুলে ধরেছেন। সেই দুজন বিশিষ্ট অধ্যাপক যারা আমাদের ডাকে এই ওয়েবিনারে যোগ দিয়েছিলেন, তাদেরকে ধন্যবাদ জানাই খেজুরি কলেজের পক্ষ থেকে। খেজুরি কলেজের পক্ষ থেকে সমস্ত পার্টিসিপেন্টসদের এবং ছাত্রছাত্রীদের আমরা অভিনন্দন ও ধন্যবাদ জানাই। এই ওয়েবিনার আয়োজন করার জন্য যে সোশিওলজি ডিপার্টমেন্ট এবং এডুকেশন ডিপার্টমেন্ট যৌথভাবে এই ওয়েবিনারের আয়োজন করেছে, তার জন্য উভয় ডিপার্টমেন্টের হেড সহ সমস্ত অধ্যাপক অধ্যাপিকাদের আমি ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি IQAC-র সহযোগিতার জন্য। সেই সঙ্গে আমাদের রঙ্গিতবাবু রয়েছেন, রঙ্গিতবাবু কোঅর্ডিনেট করেছেন এবং তিনি নানাভাবে এই ওয়েবিনার যাতে সফল হয় তার চেষ্টা করেছেন। আর আমাদের সম্মানীয় প্রেসিডেন্ট গভর্নিং বডির ডক্টর পার্থপ্রতিম দাস, তিনি তার যোগ দেওয়ার কথা ছিল, বিশেষ কারণবশত তিনি যোগ দিতে পারেননি। আর অন্যান্য যারা টেকনিক্যাল সহযোগিতা করেছে, রাজকুমার মাইতি সহ অন্যান্য যারা, তাদের সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি। আমি পুনরায় আমাদের যে দুজন বক্তা ছিলেন তারা আবার তাদের সঙ্গে আমরা মিট করব এবং আমরা এই ওয়েবিনার বিশেষ পরিস্থিতিতে করতে হচ্ছে। এটা যদি সেমিনার হিসেবে আমাদের সেমিনার হলে হতো তাহলে বোধহয় আমরা আরো অনেকটাই বেশি প্রাণবন্তভাবে ব্যাপারটাকে গ্রহণ করতে পারতাম। যাই হোক, তবু সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ জানিয়ে আপাতত আজকের এই ওয়েবিনারের সমাপ্তি ঘোষণা করছি। গুড নাইট টু অল।
Thank you, sir.
গুড নাইট স্যার।
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.